Hi, I'm Kevin. By the end of this video, you'll have 10 powerful ChatGPT techniques that will essentially cut your workload in half. I'm talking about being able to automate entire workflows, being able to create content in seconds, and essentially handling complex tasks with just a few prompts. These aren't just basic prompts. These are advanced strategies that 99% of ChatGPT users just don't know about. I've spent the last year developing automation systems for multiple businesses using ChatGPT, Make.com, N8N, and a bunch of other tools. And I've personally tested these techniques across hundreds of different use cases, so I know that they work. In this video, we'll start with the game-changing concept of what a meta prompt is, and then we'll move through 10 specific hacks that will transform how you use ChatGPT. I'll show you real examples of each technique, complete with templates that you can copy and paste and use right away. And finally, we'll look at some troubleshooting tips to make sure that you get the perfect results every single time. The thing is that if you're still typing out basic prompts and getting mediocre results, you're wasting hours of your day. You're wasting hours of your life. Without these advanced techniques, you'll keep struggling with inconsistent outputs, spending way too much time on repetitive tasks, and missing out on ChatGPT's true potential to automate your entire workflow. And if you're using these techniques with a no-code automation platform like Make.com or N8N, these meta prompts are even more powerful. In fact, think of these meta prompts as a personal AI command center, where instead of you manually crafting each prompt, you'll have a system that automatically generates perfect prompts each and every single time. So that sounds good. Let's get right into it. First of all, what are meta prompts? So a meta prompt is a prompt that instructs ChatGPT or Claude or any large language model to generate another prompt. Essentially, it automates the prompt creation process for various tasks, which as a result makes your workflow that much more dynamic. The benefit of this is that it saves you time, it's repetitive, and it's a proven way to get the results that you want. So if that sounds good, these are the 10 hacks that can radically change the way you structure your work. So let's start with the first one right here. So the first meta prompt is about context or content recycling. And what it does is it ensures that ChatGPT maintains context over long conversations or multiple types of tasks. For example, if we say something like, throughout our conversation, please maintain a running context of all the key points mentioned. When asked about previous topics, reference the earlier details without needing a reminder. And just for reference, I'm using ChatGPT for over here. So I'm not using the most advanced, the most intelligent model, right? Because I want to show you what this looks like when using a less intelligent model. So here it says, got it. I'll keep track of all the key points and reference them as needed without requiring a reminder. Let me know what's on your mind. So I want to build better daily habits. At the moment, I wake up late. I skip breakfast, or I mean, that might be a good thing, but I eat pizza for lunch and I don't start work until 10 p.m. I then sleep super late. So here we want again to keep a running context of all the key points mentioned. So let's see what we get here. So this updated the memory. And it said, that's a solid starting point to work from. What kind of daily routines are you aiming for? Are you looking to wake up earlier, eat healthier? All of them. Got it. You want to wake up earlier, eat healthier, and shift your work schedule to a more sustainable time. Since changing everything at once can be overwhelming, we can break it down to manageable steps. Okay, so step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. So here, let's see, pizza for lunch, for example. If we search for that, it references the pizza for lunch with healthier alternatives. So that's the first thing. So it just references that. Then, if I say, tell me more about sleeping schedules. So what I want to see is if it involves, since your current schedule involves staying up late, working at night, and waking up late, shifting to a healthier rhythm will take some gradual adjustments. So it's referencing the things I mentioned right here. So it's doing it correctly without requiring a reminder. And as you can see, this can be used, or as you can imagine, this can be used for a bunch of other business use cases as well. The thing is that since you got it to update its memory, it is now in its memory, obviously, and you can get that to be part of your prompt without you having to actually type it in. So that is pretty powerful stuff. So it's still going on about different things you can do to optimize your sleep schedule. And I like how in-depth this is. So for example, step 1, step 2, then point 3, point 4, point 5. So it's much more than just a simple prompt and as a result getting a simple answer. So there's a lot to that. Okay, so the next point is the following. So I like to call this the Multitasking Maestro because what it does is it handles multiple queries in a single prompt by dividing your answer into sections, and you are very specific with these types of sections. And the way this looks is, let's say, or let's first of all start a new conversation, and I'm just going to say the following. So you are a multitasking assistant. Please answer the following 2 queries in separate sections labeled Section A and Section B. Summarize the key benefits of remote work, and then list 3 tools for productivity enhancement. And if I hit enter here, we get the answer outputted in 2 separate sections. So Section A, which are the key benefits of remote work, and then we get the 3 tools for productivity enhancement. So it used to be that unless you do this, it would give you the answer, or ChatGPT would give you the answer in one big section. With this type of prompt, you are being very deliberate about the sections that you want, about the labels that you want, Section A and Section B. So here we have the 3 productivity enhancement tools, which are Notion, Trello, and Rescue Time. And this can be adjusted for anything that you want. So Section B, Section A, and Section B, and Section C. And we say, okay, give me, I don't know, the top 5 SEO action steps. Do this, and let's say keep it general. Do this for the keyword dog training. Tell me what to do next. As follows. So like this, we should get 3 sections, where the first gives us the top 5 SEO action steps in general. So keyword research, on-page SEO optimization, content creation, tech SEO and site performance, and link building and authority growth. So that's section 1. Now do this for the keyword dog training. So we get section B. And I like how both sections are divided with this divider. Keyword research, so this is more specific on dog training, on-page optimization, content strategy. So it's following what it created there, and then coming up with specific examples for the keyword that I provided. Then I have what to do next. So implement the plan, monitor performance. So immediately, as you can see, you get the different sections that you want or that you need to move forward without you having to divide it in or format this stuff afterwards. You can do it immediately with this prompt. So this is the second prompt that you can use. Moving forward, I have the role-specific responses, and this is a very interesting one because what it does is it instructs ChatGPT to adopt a specific role or expertise that if you were to use a more general prompt, you would not be able to get that level of detail. So, for example, let's say that we say, assume the role of a seasoned copywriter and digital strategist, generate a compelling headline, and a short marketing blurb for a new eco-friendly gadget. So here the role is a seasoned copywriter and a digital strategist. So let me just hit that. And I'm going to, in the second window, say assume the role of a pro environmentalist that is super engaged and passionate on this topic, on his beliefs. generate a compelling headline, and a short marketing blurb. So let's see the difference between the two. So here, in the role of a seasoned copywriter, we have revolutionized your daily routine with the ultimate eco-friendly gadget, sustainable, smart, and stylish. Tired of wasteful tech that drains resources and racks up your energy bill? Meet EcoSync, the sleek, intelligent gadget designed to reduce your carbon footprint. Okay, very copywriter, marketing wise, right? Whereas the pro-environmentalist says the future is green and it starts with you. Meet the EcoCharge X, the world's most sustainable, self-powered energy source. Say goodbye to wasteful batteries. Say hello to a cleaner and smarter, more sustainable way to live. So it depends who you're addressing. But in this case, I might go with this one because it's a bit more, authentic, I would say, rather than revolutionize your daily routine. So this feels that it's more on point just by changing the role that we're giving in the prompt. So that is the third use case that you can have with these meta prompts. The next one is about having structured output formatting. And this is a very important one because what it does is it forces the output into a predefined structure, such as JSON or bullet points. And if you have something specific that you want to accomplish after this prompt, this is super ideal. So the way this works is we can say something like, provide your answer in JSON format with the following keys: title, summary, and details. And what I'm going to do is, let's say, summarize this web page. So I'm just going to put in some information here. And I'm going to say provide your answer in with the following keys: title, summary, and details. So here, let's go to Wikipedia. And I'm just going to choose, let's go with Dr. Niguera. And if I grab this information here and paste it in, it's very unstructured, right? So what I want is to get a more structured answer back. So here, as you can see, I'm getting the JSON output. So I have the title, I have the summary, and I have the details, which creates its own structure as well. So I have definition, training method, reward-based methods. So under training methods, we have this array, or rather under rewards-based methods, we have the list here. We have the different, so training method number 1 is reward-based method. Training method number 2 is punishment-based method. We have effectiveness, history. So the output is very, very structured. So if I go to something like this, I'll be able to see this created very accurately using JSON. And if you're using a tool where this is important with what happens next, this is the ideal type of output. As I mentioned, you can also do this with, instead of saying create the output in JSON, create the output as bullet points or whatever type of format that you want. Maybe instead of JSON, I need the output in HTML. So I can do that as well. So let's edit this. And instead of saying provide your answer in JSON, I'm just going to say in HTML format. Now this doesn't make sense with the following keys. Summarizing the above. So let's see what we get. Because if we wanted to output this as a web page, this type of code will come in very handy. We get the H1. Okay. We get the H1, we get the H2. So this is also very structured. We get the bullet points here. We get another heading 2, heading 3, and so on and so forth. So it's really creating this in a structured form that we can use out of the box. So once this finishes, we'll be able to use something like this HTML viewer in order to see the results. Okay, so this finished outputting. If I copy this and go here, paste that in there, we'll be able to see this as a web page. So even if you wanted to create this as an HTML document, you could paste it into something like a Google Doc, or rather a notepad. You create an index.html. And if I were to open this up, so save that, go here, open this up, and I get a web page that obviously is not very, very formatted, but that could also be the next step. So if I go here and say, please format this so it looks nice when I open it as an HTML doc. So let's see if this will make the right edit. So this is going through now and adjusting a few things to make it like width equals device width, right? To make it, we're adding some styling here as well, making it much nicer when it comes to displaying it as a web page. So let me just pause this and I'll come back to the video once this is finished. Okay, so this is almost done and we'll be able to see the final result. So I've enhanced the formatting of your HTML with better styling for readability and visual appeal. So if we go back here, paste that in there, save it and refresh this, we now get a better looking type of HTML document with some boxes here or better like text areas. There's a background. So it's not the best, but then again, I didn't specify anything either. So I can also go back and say, what if you, and we had Wikipedia, right? So what if you, let's try this. I'm going to copy this and say, this is good, but I want it to look like this. So I just pasted in a site or a visual of what the site might look like. Here it says I can update the styling of your HTML document to match the dark themed Wikipedia layout you provided. I'll adjust the background, text colors, and layout to create a similar look, updating it out. Again, this can be done in the first step. So you could say, okay, create me structured data in HTML that follows what this screenshot is all about. So you'll get this probably almost out of the box. So here it says, I've updated your HTML document to have a dark theme, similar to the Wikipedia layout you provided. Let me know if you need any further refinements. So let's try this again. Paste, save, and refresh this. So now I had the dark theme. It's also centered. And yeah, you can keep going until you get the stuff you want. So you maybe say, okay, I want 2 columns on the page. So definition and how dogs learn might be side by side rather than one single column in the middle. You can keep going back and forth as many times as you want. Okay, the next mega prompt is about reasoning. And recently there was a lot of stuff happening when it comes to reasoning models in the AI world, right? With DeepSeek and its R1 model. However, you don't have to go with that type of model in order to get reasoning abilities. With this prompt, you can get that as well. Because what this prompt does is it breaks down complex tasks into clear logical steps. So if I go here and I start a new chat and I say, solve the following math problem step by step, explain your reasoning in each step before providing the final answer. What is 25 times 4 in brackets minus 15 divided by 3 in brackets? And here it will also solve the math problem step by step while explaining each step clearly. So does the given problem, solve the multiplication, so that's 100. So now our expression simplifies to that. Now we solve 15 division by 3, which is 5. So now it's 100 minus 5. And finally we subtract, so it's 95. So we get the whole reasoning step-by-step solution to the problem. And again, this can be done for anything. It doesn't have to be just a mathematical problem. So solve the following, I don't know. Solve the following, I'm thinking about this Trainer article that I was reading where apparently every passenger is being stopped and checked when it comes to their backpack, right? So I can say, solve the following problem. Explain your reasoning in each step before providing the final answer. And here, I'm going to dictate something and say, so recently, Ryanair decided that each and every passenger with luggage that they take on board the plane has to be stopped and checked to ensure that the luggage fits in their specific or specified dimensions. However, my backpack is slightly bigger by a few centimeters than their requirements. What can I do? So let's see what we have. You have a few options. Check it. It can be compressed. Okay, where are some items? So here, this is pretty standard in terms of the reasoning. So I can also ask it to go deeper. Be confident but discreet. Nice. If your bag is only slightly larger, carry it naturally. Okay, so let's give me the logic, steps, and reasoning for step 5. So I have the logic behind the steps. We have the steps and the reasoning. So step 1, carry the bag normally. How to do it? Carry your bag comfortably as if it fits the rules. I like how or where this is going, because generally it doesn't do well with trying to break rules and being a bit on the rebellious side. So this is great. Walk through the boarding area casually, position yourself wisely. Gate agents often pay more attention to passengers at the front or those boarding last. Don't struggle with overhead bins. If necessary, turn your back sideways. If stopped, stay calm and try adjustment. Nice. I like when ChatGPT becomes a bit of a rebel. So yeah, that's how you get it to give you the reasoning in each step before providing a final answer, and can be used for any type of situation, a type of problem, but especially with mathematical type of problems. All right, the next one is about summarization and analysis, and the way this looks is as follows. So here I'm just going to say, summarize the following article in 5 bullet points, then provide a brief analysis of the key trends discussed. So let's just go to, I don't know, BBC. Let's just grab an article here and just paste in the whole thing. So here you should get 5 bullet points that summarize the article and a brief analysis of the key trends discussed. So this is very specific in terms of the output that we want to get. So Elon's surprise White House appearance, government restructuring, political legal backlash, public political response, impact on government agencies, and global aid. And then there's the analysis of key trends. So it's much, if you use that specific prompt, you get very structured answers that can help you go to that next step very easily and without having to go back and forth to try and get the exact output that you want. So this is the benefit of using this summarization and type of analysis combination. So that was mega prompt number 6. The next one is about content expansion and enrichment. And what it does is essentially it expands a brief input into a detailed, let's say, enriched version. And the way this works is with this prompt. So here I'm going to say, expand the following paragraph by adding 3 supporting examples and additional context while maintaining the original tone. For example, remote work increases productivity and flexibility. And let's make this a bit longer. So let's copy something like this. And this is ideal if you have, for example, an SEO like case study or use case where you're trying to take what your competitors are doing and you expand it by adding additional information from ChatGPT's knowledge base. So here it gave me an expanded version of the paragraph with an additional 3 supporting examples. So let's see here. Tech giants like Microsoft and Google have implemented hybrid work policies, allowing employees to choose where they work best. I can also be a bit more specific and say, what are the 3 examples we gave? List them out in bullet points. So that's the first one. The second is hybrid models enabling working parents to better balance their careers and families. Companies leveraging co-working spaces and satellite offices as part of the hybrid strategies. So those were the 3 examples that it gave, in addition to the paragraph that I gave it. So just with this prompt, it's able to take what you gave it and create additional context by adding different examples. And not only that, but giving you that combined output, so then you can run with this. So that was the next mega prompt. Moving on. This one is what I call the creative brainstorming hack. And what it does is it generates multiple creative ideas, and it does so very quickly. So if I go here and I type in a new chat and say something like brainstorm 10 unique campaign ideas, For a startup, focus on sustainable living. List each idea as a bullet point. So again, 10 can be anything. This can be anything. This can be anything. Let's paste that in. So here we're getting the idea and some bullet points underneath it, right? So an ordered list, 1, 2, 3, up until 10, and 2 ideas on each. I can tell it to give me sub-ideas for each, or sub-ideas for each sub-bullet point. I can tell it to only give me the ideas and just do that as a bullet point item. However, again, I'm very structured in the output that I'm getting, which is great. So then it asks, would you like to expand on any of these ideas? And I can just say expand on 10, specifically giving me 3 ideas for each subpoint. So now under green corporate partnerships, I'm expecting to get 3 subpoints for collaborate with workplaces and 3 subpoints for offer company sustainability audits. So partnering with businesses. So that's the first sub idea, the second, the third, and I'm guessing I'm getting point B soon, which is offer company sustainable audits, which is that right there. Reusable utensils. Okay, so I guess 3 ideas for each subpoint. Okay, so maybe it went with 3 ideas for each for this, I guess, green corporate partnerships. So I can also be a bit more specific and say, okay, for collaborate with workplaces, give me 3 ideas, then 3 more ideas for sustainability audits if I wanted to. But again, that's sort of information that I can then take into my next step of the process. The next hack is about multi-language or multilingual translation and adaptation. So it's not just about translating stuff. It's about adapting the content across different languages. And what I mean is that if I go back to my screen here and in a new chat window, say, translate the following text into Spanish, then provide a version in French with culturally relevant idioms. Efficiency is the key to innovation. So I get the Spanish translation and I get the French translation with culturally relevant idioms. So here it says that using this specific word, moteur, in French reflects the emphasis on driving progress, often seen in business and technology contexts. So it's not just about translating, but it's also intelligent enough to give the right context. And this can be very useful if you have an international audience. In this case, I would encourage you to have a sort of human-in-the-loop type of situation, because this is where you want to ensure that you are publishing the right stuff, right? But at the same time, this also cuts down on 80 or 90% of the work that you would have had to do before this. Even if you had just used Google Translate, sometimes the culturally relevant stuff goes out of the window. So this really helps with that. And the last point I have for you today is automated code generation. What this does is it creates and formats code basically on demand, and it outputs in the code language that you want. So if I say, let's just say, generate a Python script that takes a list of numbers as input and returns a sorted list. Ensure the code includes error handling for non-numeric inputs. Let's see what we get. So we get the Python code right there. So we get the numeric list, we get the rest of the code there, and then we get, the confirmation of what we got. We can also say, now give me this in JavaScript. So just like we had the language translation from French to Spanish, or from English to French and Spanish, we have the same thing that can happen between different languages. So here is just going through and converting Python to JavaScript. So it's as easy as that. So I've converted your Python script to JavaScript. Let me know if you need further modifications or explanations. So this is very handy if you have code that's working in one language and you just want to change it to another language, or whatever you're trying to do with different coding languages. So before closing the video, what I want to show you is, or give you ideas about how to troubleshoot any meta prompts that you are not getting to output the results that you want. Because even with advanced prompts, these things can sometimes happen and things can go out of kind of what you wanted. That does not always result in what you get. So these are the most common issues and tips to troubleshoot when you don't get the output that you want. The first thing I will say is the issue might be that ChatGPT isn't following the desired format that you want. Solution is to be very specific in the output that you request. So you can say, please reformat your answer to strictly follow the JSON format that I gave you with the keys called header, content, and footer. And you can say do not include any additional text, because that is one thing that ChatGPT sometimes tends to do. The next issue might be lack of clarity in the responses that you get. In that case, what you might want to do is to be more specific with the context and with the desired output that you want to get. You might say something like, explain the benefits of remote work in 3 distinct bullet points. Each bullet point needs to be accompanied by one concrete example. So I'm being very deliberate, very specific with the output that I want. And as you saw earlier, when I was running that specific example, I didn't get exactly what I wanted. So that would have been a better type of prompt, because the clearer the instructions, the better the output will always be. Another thing is to consider breaking down tasks. So meta prompts will generally output a lot of results, right? Or a bigger type of output. If you can divide meta prompts that do this into more manageable parts, number one, that's more manageable for you. And number two, it might give you better answers if what you're getting is not what you expect. The next thing is to test and iterate. There's no one specific way that will probably work out of the box for your specific use case. When you experiment with different variations of your meta prompts, you will see what gives you the best results. And that is the way forward. You test and you see the thing that gives you the best output. Once you get that, you do more of what works. So that's pretty much in terms of troubleshooting the meta prompts that aren't giving you the results that you want. So in this video, we covered quite a lot of stuff. We covered what is a meta prompt. We covered different examples of meta prompts using ChatGPT and its capability across different areas. We looked at things like maintaining context. We looked at things like automatic code generation. There's a lot that you can do with these types of prompts. And once you understand them, you will see how they can generate other prompts to automate your workflow. And that is a powerful skill to have. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Do the fancy YouTube stuff like liking and subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want me to help you with AI and automation in your business. I'll speak to you soon.